For about 400 years, science moved in one direction. Copernicus took the Earth out of the center. Galileo took the heavens out of the realm of the sacred. Darwin took design out of biology. Freud took the soul out of the mind. Every one of those steps did the same thing. It removed a place where a creator had been necessary. By the early 20th century, the conclusion looked settled. The universe was eternal, self-sustaining, and required no explanation outside itself. Einstein assumed it. Most physicists assumed it. It was simply the adult view of things. And then, over the following century, something strange happened. A number of discoveries arrived that did not fit that picture at all. Two French authors have recently gathered them into a single argument in a book that has sold extraordinarily well and been attacked with extraordinary energy. Their claim is blunt, that the evidence has reversed, that materialism is now the position requiring faith. This video is not going to tell you whether they are right. But the argument is worth understanding properly, including what is wrong with it. The first crack came from heat. The second law of thermodynamics says that usable energy in a closed system always runs down. Order decays. Differences even out. Nothing reverses on its own. Apply that to the whole universe and you get an uncomfortable arithmetic. If the universe had already existed for infinite time, it would have run down infinitely long ago. The fact that there is still usable energy, that stars still burn, that you are still warm, implies a wind-up. A moment when the clock was set. Then came Hubble. The galaxies are not sitting still, they are moving apart, and if you run that motion backwards, everything converges. Not into a crowded room, but into a single point where space and time themselves cease to have meaning. The Big Bang was not welcomed. The name itself was coined as an insult by an astronomer who found the idea absurd. And in the Soviet Union, where dialectical materialism was state doctrine, cosmologists who took the idea seriously were censured for smuggling theology into physics. The objection was never really about the data. It was about what a beginning seems to imply. Because an eternal universe requires no cause. A universe with a starting line is a different kind of question. The second argument is stranger and harder to shake. Physics contains a set of constants: the strength of gravity, the force binding atomic nuclei, the energy of empty space. Nothing in the theory says why they have the values they do. They are simply measured and inserted. And when physicists began asking what would happen if those values were slightly different, the answers were disturbing. Make the strong nuclear force a fraction stronger, and no hydrogen survives to make water or stars. Slightly weaker, and no heavy elements form at all. Adjust the expansion energy of space by an almost unimaginably small amount, and the universe either collapses back on itself or flies apart before a single galaxy can form. There are dozens of these, each one sitting in a narrow window that permits a universe with structure, chemistry, and eventually observers. This is the fine-tuning problem, and it is not fringe. It is discussed seriously by physicists who have no religious commitment whatsoever. Then the argument moves to biology and to the cell. Not the cell as a blob of chemistry, but the cell as an information system, a molecule carrying instructions, and a machine capable of reading them. The authors set out the probabilities of that arrangement arising by chance, and the numbers are the kind that break intuition. So the case, in one sentence, is this: a universe that began, tuned to impossible precision, that then produced coded information about itself. And they ask, at what point does calling that an accident stop being the rational position? Now, the part that most videos on this subject leave out. Because physicists have answers, and they are not weak ones. On the beginning, the Big Bang describes what happened after the earliest instant we can model. It does not establish that nothing preceded it. There are serious cosmological proposals, cyclic models, eternal inflation, quantum origins, in which our universe has a start, but reality does not. On the constants. If universes are plentiful and their constants vary, then somewhere among them are the rare ones where observers can exist. And observers can only ever find themselves in that kind. A universe hostile to life has no one inside it to remark on the coincidence. Critics also point out that we have exactly one universe to examine. Calling a value improbable requires knowing the range it was drawn from, and we have no access to that range. It may be that these constants could not have been otherwise, for reasons a deeper theory would make obvious. And on the origin of life, the honest position is that nobody knows. Probability calculations about a process we cannot yet describe are not measurements. They are assumptions wearing mathematics. There is also a much older warning here. Every generation has found a gap in its understanding and placed a creator inside it. Lightning, disease, the movement of planets. Each time, the gap eventually closed, and what had been placed there had to move somewhere else. The gaps in physics are real. That much is not in dispute. What is in dispute is what a gap entitles you to conclude. So where does that leave you? I have no answer to give, and I am suspicious of anyone who offers one quickly. But there is something underneath this argument that survives whichever side you land on. For 4 centuries, the story we told ourselves was that science was steadily shrinking the mystery. That is not what happened. Every question we answered opened questions we did not previously know how to ask. We learned that the universe had a beginning, and immediately inherited the problem of what a beginning means. We measured the constants, and inherited the problem of why they are what they are. We opened the cell, and found a language inside it. The mystery did not shrink. It changed address. Einstein, who did not believe in a personal God, said that the most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible. There is no obvious reason why a random arrangement of matter should produce something that can model the whole of it, including its own origin. And yet here you are, made of that matter, wondering about it. Whether that points to a mind behind the whole thing, or only to a strange feature of this one, I do not know. But I notice that the people who are most certain on both sides are usually the ones who have looked at it least. So hold it open a while longer. The question is better company than either answer. This is the Outlier Protocol. If this found you at the right time, you know what to do.